The Atari Creep YouTube channel is intended for a mature audience. Regardless of the subject matter, this video may contain strong language, simulated violence, and lots of psychological nudity. Viewer discretion is advised. What's up, creepers and geekers? Chris the Atari Creep. How is everyone doing today, guys? Happy Patriots Day. I don't know if you guys celebrated across the country. I know it's a big deal here in New England. Anyway, Boston. Normally have the marathon, of course. We remember the Boston Marathon and all that. And with all that, I actually look at it differently than most people. I say, you know, I feel we're pretty fortunate here in Boston. We're a big city, pretty much the birthplace of America. And we've had some tragedy over the years, but far less than, say, New York. Those fucking people got to put up with so much, and of course other major cities across the world, and I just couldn't imagine. So, though that was tragic, I say, thank God it doesn't happen too often here in Boston. Now, you were originally going to get a replay of last night's Instagram Live, where we played Burger Time for the Intellivision. But lately it just hasn't been. When I hit that save the phone feature before posting it to my story there, it either gives me error or video saves, and it just hasn't been consistently saving it. So, what can we do? We can open up a TIE Fighter, which I was originally going to do. Or we can go into the notebook, my creepy little notebook, and come up with a topic. And of course we're going to be talking about the Intellivision Amico, because it's still fresh on my tongue and in my brain and up my ass. Now, never is my point or my argument to try to change your mind as to whether you like or dislike something. I like saying that before I get into a topic like this, because sometimes people can view it as a, you're fucking wrong. And in a way it is. It is a way. In a way. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you that you have to like this. I'm not trying to tell you you should like this. I'm more so trying to get the, oh, okay, I get it now. More so, especially with the Amico. Try to give you information. I see what the negative information that's going out there. And I'm trying to pick little things out that I know are incorrect. Try to get that information out. And if it goes into the brain pan, then it doesn't. If it just bounces off the fucking dense skull and doesn't go in, there's nothing I can do about that either. But if I can at least just get that whole, oh yeah, I get it now, then that's all I'm after. Plus, I like talking about the Amico. So one of the biggest things I keep hearing is people talking about, it's never going to compete. It's never going to compete. And we're talking about the big three. We're talking about Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Do I think it's going to be able to compete with Sony, the PlayStation, Microsoft and their Xbox, and Nintendo with whatever the fuck they come up with next? No, I don't. I don't think it's going to be able to compete one little bit. Guys, the Amico's not meant to. It's not meant to compete. It's not meant to compete with any of those things. Now, at its roots, at its core, it's the same thing. It's a video game console. But I'm going to do a lot of comparisons to the auto industry when talking about this. Okay, I say a lot, maybe two, because I just came up with the second one. I already had the first one in mind. But regardless, looking at cars, you have your compact cars, you have your mid-sized cars, you have your luxury cars, and you have your luxury sport. You have your exotic sport, and then you have your, it probably costs as much as my fucking house, custom-made luxury / sport, whatever, you know, your Bentleys and your Rolls Royces and stuff like that. I'm looking at the video game landscape like that. I'm not going to tell you where in there someone trying to compare the consoles to bands, and they call the Amico Slayer, and I get where he was going, that they're still a thrash metal band, but they're like on their own, doing their own thing. And I totally get that. See, Tommy had this passion for the Intellivision. If you watch his latest trailer video, that'll give you a lot more insight as to how he became involved with Intellivision and why. He's had this concept for a long time. He saw this hole, this gaping wound, if you will, in the market for video games. And he felt he had an idea to plug that hole, so to speak. So when you're talking about the Amico, as far as I see it, you can't really be looking at the Amico through the eyes of someone who sees the modern gaming landscape and how it has been. Yeah, there is a norm to any situation and anything trying to come in and not follow the norm. You get one of two things. You either get innovation that takes over, or you get complete failure. Rarely will you ever see that middle ground. What's unique about this situation is, yeah, they're all video games, but he's not trying to come in and innovate in that turf. Now, can they coexist? Of course they can coexist. They can coexist side by side. Will it spill over a little bit? Yeah, of course it will. It's still, again, the roots of it are still video games. But you gotta understand the whole Amico thing, the concept of it, and its sole purpose is for a completely different market. Completely, it's a different concept. Again, though its roots are rooted the same. Now, some people could sit there and say, well, it's really only catering to you 40-year plus old dudes with the gray beards who had love for this thing back in whenever. And to that I'm saying, you know, in some cases, sure, there's going to be a percentage of that. I'm going to say no, for the most part, though. That's not the actual demographic. Yeah, he is trying to use the Intellivision name, there's no doubt, to stir up love from the people who grew up with it and have wicked nostalgia for it. But that's not his core market. That's not his core market. And actually, I was going to do a whole nother video on, is the Intellivision Amico a retro console? Because you hear that, oh, we don't need another one of these retro consoles. And I'll be honest with you, here's another auto industry parallel. I don't look at the Amico any more retro than I do an F-150. Is the F-150 the same as a fucking Model T? Now, they're both Ford trucks. Ford's been around for a long ass time. But if you look at a Model T and a brand new F-150, the roots there, they're four wheels, they're a truck. You get behind a steering wheel and you do your thing, but it's a completely different animal, and that's where I'm coming from when it comes to this. So in somewhat conclusion, thank God this is a shorter video, right? Are you tired of seeing me on videos for 25 minutes? Can this compete with the big three? No, it cannot. It's not fucking designed to. But it can coexist in the same world. But if you look at what Tommy's trying to do, if you just clear your mind and just look at his concept, listen to his numbers, he's got a legit research team out there. People sit there and scarf at that. This guy's spending tons of money to get professionals out there that know what the fuck they're talking about, to gather data and numbers and information. Do I agree that always works? No. Look at the fucking movie industry. But it's a reality. He knows where he's trying to go with it. He knows what he wants to do with it. Now, whether you like it or not, that's neither here nor there. Again, I'm not trying to convince you to like it. I would love for you to, so that maybe we can, in passing, jam at some point on, I don't know, whatever game. But I'm, again, more after the whole, oh, okay, I get it now. And if that's followed by a, yeah, it's still not for me, that's cool. I have no problem with that whatsoever. People like, you just don't like the haters. I don't give a fuck if you hate it or not. A lot of times, if I see misinformation, I want to address it. I want to address it. Now, I'm going to do it maybe a little bit differently than him. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm going to do it just like him. I'm aggressive at times. I get it. But regardless, I mean, that's really it. It's not meant to compete. It's for a completely different demographic. And if it spills into that market, then awesome. If not, what are you going to do? So now that I broke my actual train of concentration and went completely somewhere else with it, I want to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments below. Do you understand what it is I'm trying to get at here? Was I able to articulate it properly? Do you still just disagree with that? Let me know down in the comments. I don't care. Leave feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down. All feedback to the Creep is positive. Guys, we're going to be opening up a shitload of Star Wars toys here pretty soon. I wanted to do the TIE Fighter thing today. And my intro was actually going to be in bad taste. You know, the little thing I said about the terrorism and all that stuff earlier on? I was actually going to say, and speaking about terrorists and tyranny, now I was going to show you the Imperial TIE Fighter. I don't know, maybe it would have been funny. Maybe it wouldn't have been. I chose against it for once. I used a little bit of common sense and said, Chris, don't. Keep your mouth shut. But either way, happy Monday, guys. And if you're out there working, doing the essentials, I salute you. Be safe, be safe. No fucking paycheck is worth bringing that shit home to you and your family. Especially after what I just watched, what happened with my mom. Guys, be safe out there. And thank you if you are essential. Whether you're simply just sweeping the floor at the grocery store, or you're all the way at the top trying to find a fucking answer for this thing. I love each and every one of you, and I'm there with you. I pray for your safety every day. And to those of you who are staying home and everything, stay the fuck home. Cover your face when you have to go out. Do everything you need to do to get rid of this pandemic crap. And hopefully we'll get through it together on the other side. And we'll still be able to bob and weave and fight about this nonsense, this useless pieces of plastic that we get so passionate. Don't come at me with passion, bro. I'll cut you down. I remember seeing that the other day in a video. Can't recall who. But with that, guys, thanks as always so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Until next time, take care, keep it real, and bye-bye.